It is not so hard to understand that when you see a book on the table, that you are not that book. Everybody understands that. It's normal. And to understand that you are not the things that rise up in your mind, the thoughts, to understand that you are not that, we cannot believe it, because these thoughts are inside us, and it is what we are, what we think. It's our self image. It is what we are. I am that, what I think. I think I am, all kinds of thoughts. That is so difficult to understand, that you are not that thoughts. But there is a little help when you know it, you are not a book on the table. And you read the book. And the book has a lot of adventures and stories. And the stories, the word of that story comes in your mind, in your thoughts. You start to think about the thoughts, the words and the adventure from the book. Well, is this your thoughts? Is it yours, or is it from the book? When it is from the book, and it is, it's not yours. And when you think it's yours, where did it come from? Where did these thoughts came from? Did you get it out of, did you make them? Did you manifest it? Did you make it appear? No, it was depending on the book on the table, which is not you. So it's easy to understand that thoughts come inside you from the outer world. All examples all day long. You see something and you start to think about it. It enters your mind and there are the thoughts about that. At the same time you turn your head, you see something else, or you hear a sound. Oh, that's what what is there? And you start to think about that it enters you. So it's not yours. Nothing is yours. You are empty. And that's your bliss. Whatever enters you, see it as a temporal opinion or what. One time you like a book and years later you reread that book and you say, oh, it was a rubbish, and put it away. So you change. The thoughts in you are depending on what brings them inside your head. And the best thing to think about is, I am not that. I am empty of all that. That's freedom. Happy, happy. So we came to the conclusion that the book on the table is different from what we are. Everybody knows that, the little child knows it. And then, further investigation, we are not the content of the book, because it is written in the book. It enters our mind, and then it becomes ours. It's not true. It's the content of the book, not of you. Investigate that, and you have to admit what is written in the book, and I read it and it comes into my mind, then my thoughts are about it. Then I say, these are my thoughts. No, it is the book. Written in the book enters your mind. So you think it's yours. So you can investigate everything around you that happens, that enters your mind. But it is not yours, and even the mind is not yours. The mind is not a thing that you can say, here is my mind, look at it, I have it here. No, the mind is a tool. It is by itself empty and it receives all impressions. And then you say, this is mine. No, it's when you have a bag and you put in the supermarket, you put the food and the boxes that you have the bread and all things in the bag, then that is not the bag. It is just the content in the bag. The bag is not what is in it, and your mind is not what is in it. And even if you think about your own self, your body, your person, that's more difficult. It gets more difficult, but that also is just an opinion in the mind, which is empty by itself. Yeah, it is different. One day you think, oh, I look pretty, I have a nice color, and my hair is good. And the day after you say, oh, what a terrible face. I look so old and tired and my hair is not nice. So even that appearing of your own self is different in your thoughts. Well, what is real? The mind is still only a tool which receives the impressions. And the impressions change. So what is left? Nothing is left of you. That what your parents named you and made you as what you think, it changes whenever you take attention, give it attention. There are many people born the way they are and they die the way they are. Only the skin is older and the hair is gray. But you have this tool, the brain, to transform that. What your parents taught you, you are this, you are that, you are this like this, you are that, and oh, I am this, and then you live your life, and all the people confirm what you have learned in the beginning. Hey, how are you? Good. That's what you think you are. Of course, it's a reaction, it's normal. But if you know that you are the empty possibility of receiving impressions, then you don't go into the world of impressions and of opinion. Then there is no creation of what you are, because that is only opinion. Even if you look at your own body, then you might say, this is what I am, this is my body. But the book on the table is there and you can see it, and you are not the book. And the body around you, you can see it, you are not the body. Impressions in the mind, you can understand it, but you are not the impressions. What remains of you? Nothing. Nothing remains of you. It's the whole world making you feel that you are somebody here now and you will disappear. You were born and you will die. No, it's only impressions. Impressions by other impressions, because the one that tells you something, he also changes. It was only an impression of that figure or body or mind. We all are empty. And what is it that makes us feel separate and imprisoned and afraid of losing it? What is it that makes this? It is a consciousness. Consciousness by itself is wide open and it receives all around the energy from the level of consciousness of what is around us. That's what's going on. But you are aware of this. You are aware of the consciousness filling up with other opinions and make your own opinion about it, and that changes again. So you must be after that. Stop and be the self, the empty self that you are. So you remain empty of all the opinions around you, and even if they enter you, don't mention it, don't take it serious. See it just as consciousness or whatever appears. Because if you don't give it opinion, it does not exist. Huh? No, then it has no form. That's the secret of creation, giving things form. If there is something and you don't give it form or opinion, because opinion is form, then it does not exist, it is not created. And that makes you free of it. You still exist. You exist eternally, but not as that form or the thoughts or the opinion or that what you created. That was only the imagination of your mind, of the consciousness, of the one real being that you are. You made up things and you had an opinion about the things, and then you were stuck to the opinion and you were created. You created yourself. If you don't give it an opinion, there is no creation. And you remain eternally free of it, because that's what you were before you started to create this. You were there. There had to be someone, something, some beingness that created all this. And that's you. Happy, huh? Happy. Free of all whatever appears. It will appear. That's what the play of consciousness is. But you will see through it. You will see the emptiness through all forms. And so you are empty yourself. Empty of the forms formed in your mind by your thoughts. See the whole story, what you see around you, as a book. And you are not the book. Happy, happy, happy. What I see is not real. And what is not seen is real. It's a funny creation of imagination. Nothing exists but the idea of existence. And that what exists knows that. And it's not to be known. Funny, yeah? But it's true. Freedom expresses itself as expression. That's all. It's important to realize that whatever you do is the expression of that what creates it. The silent course starts to vibrate, and the most close you can be to that silent course is to realize that vibration, and that you are drifting on it. It is the base of your existence. The sound of the vibration is the sound of Om. That means the vibration makes not only movement but also sound. And the closest to that is the sound of Om. That's the first sound, the sound of God or the sound of the universe. It is is like it is yourself, your core of your being. It is like the blood through your veins. Make a sort of and the wind in the trees is sort of, it is a soothing sound. It makes you feel easy. And if you concentrate on that, you are the closest you can be to the silent core. But day goes on and you express yourself. This silent free core expresses itself in movements and in the vibration of creation. That's you move. But it's all the free expression of that vibration. So whatever is done, it's the free expression that expresses itself free. If you don't interfere or want to change things as they come, just be there and know this is your free, it's the free being as it arises in the day. You need nothing to do to make it appear or to let it disappear. It is the sound as when you were younger, there were those planes that came over and they made that sound. It is, I always, as a child, I felt so good inside. I didn't know why, but that sound of that plane that made me feel it was a recognition. And I know now why it is that. So be free because you are free. It is, whatever happens, it is already there and you can enjoy it. It is the movement of the silence inside. And the most close is this feeling, this vibration, this hearing, like the blood in the veins. And out of it come all the actions, but it is what is planned by God. So don't try to change the life because it is as it is and it is free. It is your own free expression of yourself. Whatever it is, free expression. Enjoy it, enjoy it. Beingness is not to be known. It is only to be. What you are is not to be known. But then there appears a separated person with a mind that starts to think about what is. And that is not the same as beingness. Beingness has no thoughts. It's just streaming. And you put yourself a part of that. It's not possible, but the mind does it. And we listen to the mind. If you put yourself apart from all that is, the beingness, then you are aside. There's a longing. You start to explain, oh, I have to be that, I must do that. When I sit, I rise up at 5 in the morning and I sit with a candle, I will be that, what I am. You see how silly it is what the mind tells you. Never listen to the mind. It's, oh my goodness, it is the play of beingness that it splits itself in beingness and thinking about beingness. And that's where we have to make the bridge, to crawl over that so-called bridge, that invisible distance, and just bam, be what is. You cannot know what is, you can only be what is. That's the freedom of what appears. And that, where it comes from, is the base, it's the cause, it's what you are. And what comes out of it is the experience. It is the free experience of appearances. Appearances. The free experience of experiences. No mind, no thoughts, just what is. That's the happiness of understanding. We need the mind to understand, but we don't understand with the mind. Sorry. We understand with the great knowing inside, but the knowing is not to be known, it is what we are. You feel it? It is being what you are. However, whatever, it is being. Bliss, bliss, bliss. More and more it is clear that when this, what we are, is separating itself from the real being that is silent, it is not separating itself in thoughts and mind and opinion, then it is equal to what is. There is no more difference between the silent being that we are and what appears out of it, because there is nothing that has an opinion of it. So movement and silence are in fact the same. This is so good to feel the truth. The silence is the cause, and it starts to vibrate, and the vibration is the personal, so-called personal mind, the separated being, the thoughts, the mind, the opinion of what is. And it has an opinion about itself, because there is only this self, which is silent and starts to move. So all the movements are this self, only now it is visible and you can see it. The silent self is not to be seen, it's not to be known. And because it starts to move, you are that movement, it is known. But when it is known by a separated one with a mind and opinion. So if you leave that, leave your mind and opinion about whatever is appearing, then that what appears is the same as the silence where it came from. There is no difference. There is no one who makes a difference by thinking this or thinking that, or I prefer this, or to my opinion it's more like blah blah blah. That's all the separated one coming out of that silence or out of that movement, but the movement is the same as the silence when there's no one saying or thinking about it. So whatever appears is the silence as experience, as what is, as appearance. Silence is silence, and now it's visible. It's to be experienced. You can realize it, you can feel it, but don't give it an opinion. But then you are a part of it, and then you have to try to come back, which is not possible because you are not a part, but that's the mind. Mind splits itself from what is, and it starts blah 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 blah, and then you are drawn out of your peace. So there's the peace, there's the silence, the peace, there's the vibration of that silence and the peace. That's what is appearing here, and the experiences of the vibration, and then leave it. Let it be as it is, and then this vibration is the same peaceful silence as where it comes from, and that's your inner self. Thank you. It's coming closer and closer. While don't do anything for it, it just appears. It is the silent self appearing as this wisdom in its own vibration, and then it returns to the silence because there's no more difference. Silence and that what comes out of silence, it's the same peaceful, blissful state of being. It's beingness. So whatever appears out of silence, if you leave it, it remains silence. Whatever comes out of this peaceful being, if you leave it, it remains this peaceful being. So good to realize that. Happiness, happiness.
Is de klank die de schepping doorklinkt. Is de trilling die alles doordringt. Is het woord dat hier tot ons zingt. Is de liefde